We interrupt your regularly scheduled frivolity for this emergency broadcast. February 18th, 2025. Humanity has fallen. The pigeons are in charge now. The feathery grey tide has swept across the globe, pecked civilization into submission, while world leaders sit in bunkers nervously Googling how to stop birds. This morning, London's financial district has declared a no-go zone after a highly organised pigeon militia stormed the Bank of England, displacing traders and replacing the FTSE 100 index with an unholy economy based entirely on stale Greg's pastry. Meanwhile, in Washington, the Pentagon has reportedly been repurposed into a giant bird bath. We can only hope now that our new pigeon overlords are merciful on us all. We now take you back to your regularly scheduled programming. Oh, that was weird. That was a joke, right? What just happened? That was like a little jokey joke, right? Birds are aliens. Have we confirmed this intelligence? Has this happened? Do we know this for a fact? Do we know this for a fact? Oh, I'll grab all of those really quickly and put those on the wheel. Welcome, by the way, to TardisWiki Wiki Roulette. In defiance of our pigeon overlords, we will continue to broadcast here until they come and peck me with their little beaks. Which I'm sure this page has been updated. Oh, the page that page has been updated. That's awesome. That is awesome. Was it? I'm not sure anymore. Oh no! Put the pigeon. Which pigeon? I for one welcome our pigeon overlords. Well, that's your opinion, Bruce. I suppose. Anyway, yeah, welcome to TardisWiki Wiki Roulette, the show where we TARDIS a Wiki Roulette. And what we do here, both when under the yoke of our pigeon overlords and during normal times as well, what we do here is we look at the TARDIS Wiki and we take articles from the TARDIS Wiki. We put them on this little wheel here. We give them a little spinny spin, you know what I mean? And then we look it up and then hilarity ensues. Coo Coo. Oh, is that really a suggestion? Let's find out. Let's find out. Is that some kind of coded message, Aristide? Are you a pigeon fed? Is that what's going on there? What are pigeons' opinions on gender? Presumably hyper-conservative, I would imagine. Let's spin the wheel, why don't we? They are, after all, rats with wings.
Yeah, baby.
Shh, don't blow my cover, they think I'm one of them. Coo! Oh. What a wonderful place to start our fabulous journey here on TardisWiki Wiki Roulette. That ad is getting on my nerves. I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to get rid of that right away. Rats are conservative. I mean, one would assume, yes. Alright. Alright, Earth-1616 is multiverse. Violent unknown event? Alright, let's pop it in. Violent unknown event. I unalive the pigeon president. Oh dear, I'm glad I didn't finish that sentence. My god. Is this like the happening? I think it is, yeah. I don't know. I can't look at the news right now because I'm busy hosting TardisWiki Wiki Roulette, so I'm as blind as you guys are. We're looking at Earth-616's multiverse though. Maybe somewhere in the hallowed world of Marvel Comics, we will find a solution to this dire problem. Maybe that will happen. Maybe. Surely like Hitchcock's The Birds. Or a crappy Twilight Zone episode. Earth 616 existed in a multiverse which was distinct from the wider omniverse. One iteration of it was known as the Eighth Cosmos. Universes in this multiverse were remembered using the core continuum designation system. By one account, this multiverse was separate in the omniversal spectrum from the Doctor's multiverse. However, other accounts indicated events continuous with the Doctor's universe occurred as part of this multiverse. Fucking, this is boiling my brain. With the Doctor's universe having overlap with realities designated Earth 5556, Earth 5, and Earth 5555. Oh. Well, damn. Did the CIA use pigeons as part of MK Ultra experiments? We can only assume that to be the case, yes. Sources deferred on whether the numbering 616 was part of an omniversal naming scheme or a naming scheme for this specific multiverse built around superheroes. And some accounts treated the multiverse as a singular name for all realities, not a specific subgrouping. Esterath claimed that the Doctor, by their 8th incarnation, had never interacted with another multiverse, including this one, but some sources showed the 7th Doctor interacting with inhabitants of this multiverse. Dr. Henry P. Stanton believed that Roma had called the chief physician in from some godforsaken corner of the Omniverse. Isn't 616 the original Devil's number? I don't know, is it? Where's Najawin? Najawin would know. Let's continue reading this, I guess. And then I can put up a big clickbait title that goes, was Doctor Who Marvel Doctor Who, same universe, and then the thumbnail will be this. Be great. Be great, right? Plausible? What do you mean plausible? Is this the part where I have to squeeze an answer out of you? What does plausibly mean? The chief physician being a wink wink nudge nudge cameo by the Doctor in an X-Men novel? Oh, I didn't know about that. That's fun. Okay. I mean, they are kind of the same multiverse explicitly. I might have heard it years ago, but I can't remember. Vaguely rings a bell. Well, you know what? I am going to do the heroes thing right now and look it up. Is 616 the original Devil's number? Let's see what the AI overview says. According to some scholars, the number 616 is considered the original Devil's number, as it appears in a few early biblical manuscripts as the number of the beast, instead of the more widely known 666, which is found in most Bible translations. The earliest known instance of 616 is in the Papyrus 115 manuscript of the Book of Revelation. There we go. There we go. We learned a fact. We learned a fact about another fictional universe today. Isn't that fun? The devil is scary. I really think Doctor Who needs an Immortal Hulk-like revival. What do you mean by that? Alright, who gave coolers my a link to my unlisted playlist? Tell me now. I assume that you did. It's cool that you guys are such close friends, by the way. Tell them not to post cringe in the Discord anymore, please. Let's spin the wheel again.
Yeah, baby.
Humbug! Oh. Let's take a looky look on the wheelie wheel. We need more entries for the wheel, by the way. Not the sand, so like the Crotons being scary. Never seen that before. Alright, let's see. TardisWiki Roulette. TardisWiki Roulette. TardisWiki Roulette. A humbug was a mid-suite carried by the Doctor's 4th, 8th, and 13th incarnations. Oh no, I lost the page. Fuck. The 4th Doctor once offered a humbug to Gavra Haid after their meeting adjoined. The 13th Doctor once offered one out of a paper bag to a companion, Ryan Sinclair, when he complained of motion sickness during aboard a stolen cyberfighter. She said that it contained added ginger. Oh. Jacqueline Schaefer confessed to stealing humbugs from a market during her youth. Ava Beauregard counted humbugs as one of the 3 things keeping her alive, the others being the Ceresian vapors and her wife. She described them as a mint that never lets you down. Despite the 4th Doctor calling it a humbug, the sweet taken by Hyde was in fact a jelly baby. This incident is similar to one in Image of the Fendal, where the Doctor offers a jelly baby that was in fact a licorice allsort. What did you retract, Craig? Wow, how interesting. I mean, they can't all be bangers. I don't know, man. They can't all be wins. That's the thing with TARDIS Wiki Roulette.
Yeah, baby.
Hey, Alan knows. Alan knows how it is. Sometimes you get good ones. Sometimes you get humbug. We did this one already. Does the 4th Doctor know what a jelly baby is? What is the truth? The people want to know. Has someone been messing with Alan? I remember you did a Keir Starmer joke. Yes, I did do a Keir Starmer joke about the alien prison. Yes. What's fun about that joke is that it works whether the person in power is a conservative or a not conservative. That's what wonderful about that joke is. It's just an all-purpose dig at whoever's in charge. House disambiguation. I mean, we need to spin again. We need to spin again. Oh yeah, no. Is this just a list of houses? Fuck. We will spin again. Momentarily. Look at it. You'll just have to imagine the spinning.
Yeah, baby.
Okay. Alright, let's get down to business. Oh, water. Shit. Oh, fuck yeah. Yay! I'm gonna be really disappointed if he doesn't have a TARDIS Wiki page. I'm gonna say, no! 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 My disappointment is palpable right now. I am more disappointed in the TARDIS Wiki and the Doctor Who Expanded Universe than I am in Drake. No, that's not true. But for real, where is his page? Why has no one mentioned him? Why has no one mentioned him? Why is this fucking cavalcade of fucking white people not mentioned him? We need a Kendrick Lamar reference in Series 16. I agree. Let's not go there. Let's go there. It's a minor disappointment if you message retracted. How is that in Sans? How are you typing in Sans right now? How about an appearance? Oh dear. Well, we tried. It was really cool of Kendrick to like let that football game happen at his concert, by the way. That was good of him. He's a real good sport. Anyway, let's Let's spin the wheel again.
Yeah, baby.
Did you know that he won 3 Purple Hearts? There, I dusted off the one John Kerry joke that I know. Magic, Wild Magic. Follow Wild Magic on Twitch. He's a great guy. Friend of the stream. Did you add our suggestions from the beginning? I think I did. Let me just double check and make sure that I got all of them. Hold on. Yes. Yes, I did. Shocking amount of old stuff lying around on here. Guess whose fault that is? It's all my fault. Smashing. A man once appeared on Earth in the 2000s. An image of the man was present among several broadcasts, all monitored by far future Cybermen. According to the Cyber leader, a holistic profile of humanity's emotional state had been established. The man, although unidentified in the story, heavily resembles John Kerry. Kerry was the Democratic Party's nominee for the 2004 United States presidential election, which took place during the release of The Flood. The image of Kerry in the story is possibly based on photographs of his election concession speech, which he gave a month prior to the release of Part 6 of the comic in DWM 351. I don't know a lot about John Kerry. I do know that he won 3 Purple Hearts, so, I mean, obviously he was, like, a hero and stuff. At the same time, fuck. He did lose to George W. Bush, and that is incredible. Just incredible. And that was after George's first term as well. So, like, wow. Did you use the new intro? I didn't use the new intro. I haven't decided whether to use that intro or not. I quite like it. I'm just not sure if it's 100% what I want, but I do like it. Lose to Bush. I like that you put Sonic in there. I thought that was cool. Lose to Bush. Yeah, I mean, he did, didn't he? Unless there was, like, some kind of chicanery that I'm not familiar with that happened, which, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. L. Kerry. I mean, a bit, you know. Anyway, we should probably spin the wheel again.
Yeah, baby.
Let's see what old page it lands on this time. Oh! Wow! How exciting. You know, they don't get a lot of shine, but I think it's really nice that we're gonna put some spotlight on George Thorogood's backing musicians today. After all, from what I understand, according to both popular and academic rigor, they are bad to the bone. And I think it is time that that was acknowledged in some way. I could be misremembering, but it sounds familiar. It's George Thorogood's backing musicians. It's fine. It's fine. It's all fine, because I found something interesting that we could look at. And I can cut into a video, so that's fine. The Destroyers! The Destroyers was the unproduced pilot episode of a spin-off series for American television. The exact title of the proposed spin-off series is not known. It was written by Terry Nation and was supposed to feature the Daleks and the Space Security Service. A synopsis of the episode was published in the official Doctor Who and the Daleks book in 1988. A notable aspect of the script is that one of the characters is Sarah Kingdom, whom Nation had featured in the Daleks Master Plan, along with other characters and concepts used in the aborted spin-off. Dare or dare, Ryan? I'm not going to play fucking games with you, Craig. That's my answer. Carson and Wayne were members of a space exploration team guarding their base dome surrounded by a force field. Despite this, Daleks penetrate the field and kill Carson. His death alerts Wayne, Morgan, and Sarah Kingdom. Sarah sounds the alarm as the Daleks attack. There are apparently no survivors. Brought her back just to kill her again? Haha, penetrate? I'm glad I have such a highbrow audience here. The Special Space Security sends 3 agents to investigate Captain Jason Corey, Sarah's brother David Kingdom, and android Mark 7. They discover Whitman's still alive. He cannot identify their attackers, but tells them that they took a few prisoners. Before he does, Sarah is in fact alive, but wounded, dodging the Daleks in the jungle. The Daleks have Philip Lee as a prisoner for interrogation. Their instrumentation detects movement at the Doom, and they send a patrol to annihilate whatever is alive there until it's not. The agents have discovered the Dalek tracks and are following them when the Daleks approach the dome. Jason, Mark, and David hide in the bushes, where they are attacked by man-eating plants. Ryan, do something silly. There you go. Mark makes a noise, and the Ryans blast away at the bushes before proceeding to the dome. Jason and David free themselves with their knives and go to Mark's aid. Being a robot, he is mostly undamaged from the attack and needs only minor repairs before he is functional again. Not silly enough? Craig said I'm bored. Phil Munder said, hi bored, I'm dad. Oh dear, I've been bored like all day. This has been the highlight of my day so far. Mark makes a noise, the Daleks blast away the bushes. Oh, we already read that bit, right? Yep. They activate their defense mechanisms. Shadowy specters that attack. There's ghosts in this now? Shadowy specters that attack her, enveloping her in webbing. Oh god! The Daleks take her captive. Jason, David, and Mark find the cave just ahead of the Dalek patrol, returning from the Doom. Their way forward is blocked by a chasm, but knowing there must be some way for the Daleks to cross it, they hide and see 2 Daleks activate a bridge. This is thrilling stuff, man. As one crosses, they jump the other, and Mark tosses it into the chasm. The first Dalek tries to return, but David deactivates the bridge, sending the creature plunging into the abyss. In Dalek central control, Lee is eliminated now that they have a better prisoner in Sarah. The Black Dalek orders the ship prepared for departure. The agents arrive at the perimeter in time to see this, but not in time to stop it. The Dalek ship launches, taking Sarah with it. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, like, when was this meant to be pitched for? Okay, how do I put this? This is a pile of wank. This is really bad. Like, you take away... It's like Doctor Who, but you take away the Doctor. And the problem with doing that is then it's just a lot of bullshitting around and running around and getting captured and then escaping again. It's boring! It's boring! There's no stakes. It's just people running away from Daleks. And then there's randomly ghosts at one point, and that's the most interesting thing that happens. It's boring! Not the page. The page is fine. I mean this Dalek spin-off. I'm sorry, are you Terry Nation? Are you actually Terry Nation, Bruce Simmons? I'm sorry if that's the case, I guess. It's a Terry Nation script, then it's boring! No, I like Terry Nation, I think. On the 1st of November 1966, midway through recording The Power of the Daleks, Terry Nation approached the BBC about spinning off the Daleks into their own television series. It would spotlight the Space Security Service and Sarah Kingdom. both of whom have been created by Nation for the Daleks' master plan. Impressed by Jean Marsh's performance in that serial. Never met him? Oh, okay. I've heard he's lovely. Nation provided a 2-act pilot script entitled The Destroyers and suggested that the Dalek program should be made on film and in colour, which would require it to air on BBC Two. By 13th of November, Nation's Linstead Film Production seemed to have been given the go-ahead for a pilot episode of a half-hour Dalek series to begin production on Monday 12th of November. On 22nd or 25th of November, however, the BBC pulled out of the project due to BBC Two controller David Attenborough rejection of the series due to lack of available space on the BBC Two schedule and a reluctance to pulled out. Yeah. David Attenborough's rejection of the series due to lack of available space on the BBC Two schedule and a reluctance to poaching the characters from BBC One. In 1967, Nation attempted to sell the series to America's ABC network, but without success. As Nation had requested that the BBC relinquish its rights to the Daleks to clear the sale of a Dalek series to the US, and possibly ITV, the BBC opted to take the Daleks out of Doctor Who permanently, and so a final showdown was scheduled in The Evil of the Daleks, written by David Whittaker. Okay, so what we're gonna do is, you can take your Daleks to the US, or God forbid to ITV, but we are going to kill them off in one final Doctor Who story so that we can make merchandising money. I mean, give them a proper send-off. But we're going to get someone else to write it. Okay? Okay, I'm assuming you're fine with this. Now, fuck off, please. That's how I imagine the meeting went. Who's that supposed to be? David Attenborough. Who do you think it's supposed to be? You don't like my David Attenborough impression? You don't think this sounds like David Attenborough? He's the bloke from the nature documentaries. That bloke. You know, David Attenborough. He talks about the birds. Frankly, he should have given a small warning about these pigeons, if you ask me. Alright. And the bees. Yes, that is true. He talks about the birds and the bees. That is a true fact, yes. Let's take a look at this now. Okay. In 2004, Loose Cannon Productions made a 5-minute reconstruction of the pilot, along with a brief featurette on the background to it. It cast Edward D'Souza as Captain Jason Corey, Nicholas Courtney as David Kingdom, and William Gaunt as Mark 7. Apparently there was an audio production as well. Big Finish produced a full-cast audio drama of this story for the Second Doctor box set, a part of the Lost Stories series released in December 2010. Terry Nation's original story about soldiers in the far future battling the menace of the Daleks was adapted by Nicholas Briggs and John Dorney, and largely switched the roles of Sarah and David. It starred Jean Marsh as Sarah Kingdom, Alex Cox as Mark 7, Chris Porter as Jason Corey, Alex Mallingson as David Kingdom, and Nicholas Briggs as the voice of the Daleks. Okay, let's take another look. Right here. Here we go. Okay then. Would you like me to spin this wheel? You want me to do the clicky thing? And then it goes and around and around and around, and then we land on something, and then we talk about it. Is that what you'd like? Is that what you want? Nicholas Briggs as the Daleks. Talk about casting against type. I know, right? Alright, let's spin the wheel again.
Yeah, baby.
Oh! The Fly from Joy to the World? That's true. How interesting. A fly lived in Sandringham Hotel. On 24th of December 2024 in Sandringham Hotel, the fly met Joy Almondo after she went to her room. She welcomed the fly and greeted them a Merry Christmas, happily telling them that now she wasn't going to be lonely. From banger to banger? I know! Who would win in a fight, Pigeon or... A pigeon! Clearly! They're taking over the world! What kind of question is that? Pigeon! Easy. Easy. No diff. Every time. Alright. Now a pigeon and many flies. Now that's a conversation we could have. Not that I would question our pigeon overlords.
Yeah, baby.
But yeah, it's been a slow news day today here at Tardis Wiki Roulette. Oh, what's this? The vicinity. Why don't we take a look? 100 fly-sized pigeons or 1 pigeon-sized fly. Imagine a pigeon-sized fly. That would be terrifying. The vicinity was a virtual reality which Chris Shway lived in during his time as a disembodied consciousness bonded with V-Time. While the vicinity in many ways was the container of Shway's consciousness, she also possessed a female persona named Vicky. Physically, the vicinity was a small glowing glass-like cube, containing a crystalline masterwork of cognitive engineering sliced from the Superior's matrix. The cube had been smelted on a volcano planet from a place of the Lark slab Shway's consciousness had been transferred into during the V-Time experiment. This is killing my brain, I have to say. Hold on, you can't see the wiki? Well, that's just awful. There you go. There you go. The cube had been smelted on a volcano with the other pieces of this cube slab being in the microchips which Shway used to inhabit Shwaygen. On a higher dimension, all of these pieces still existed as a single undivided object with the cube acting as an anchor. The vicinity's interior resembled a timeless grey void in which Shway could summon any object he wanted. As Vicky, the vicinity once created a physical humanoid body using similar principles to humanoid timeships. She had long red hair and a body Shway was attracted to. At the very culmination of Shway's body with V-Time, he had briefly seen his own shadow as a red-haired woman. Upon discovering that Shway had been harbouring the interdimensional criminals Lals and Qual, the Superior sentenced him to execution, which was performed by shattering the glass cube of the vicinity. However, Vicky used the last of her strength to project his consciousness to another Shway's body. Returning to the courtroom, he retrieved some of the glass shards to keep it as good luck charm. Later, Shway stole a defective prototype of the vicinity and used his knowledge of V-Time to complete it. He spent 50 years inside the restored vicinity, I bet he fucking did, while the uprising of the Shwaygen occurred, raged outside. After regenerating into a woman, the healer tossed Shway a glass shard, which he realized was identical to the one he still carried. That was very creepy. Um, 100 fly-sized pigeons. I've been thinking about that. I've been like trying to weigh that one up in my head, and I'm really not sure. That is a difficult one. Anyway, let's spin the wheel again.
Yeah, baby.
Bible! Time to look up something completely non-controversial. No way this can get me in trouble. No way at all. The Bible was the central book of several religions on Earth. In Mesopotamia in 2700 BC, Ace thought that the story Avram told about a great flood caused by a war between the gods sounded like something from the Bible. In 64, the first Doctor criticized Amos, Rahab, and Reuben's Greek translation of Mark, noting it to be as dry as stale bread. He advised them to follow their inspiration rather than aim for accuracy. In 1605, he observed the translation of the Bible into the English language. In 325, the Fifth Doctor, Aramum, and Peri were present at the Council of Nicaea. This conference, which pulled together the major scholars and leaders of 14th century Christianity, defined the biblical canon in ways that remained largely unchanged for the centuries that followed. It also led to a major philosophical divide between the Doctor and Aramum. In 1609, Cardinal Rollo Bellarmine used the Bible as a guideline while moderating the Armageddon Convention. A copy of the Bible published in late 18th century was among the possessions of Bathsheba's family, their ancestors having brought it with them when they were taken by Goibelini to Tiernanog. The Seventh Doctor thought he may have helped write it. The Bible was later used in David Gibson's exorcism. So, like, the implication here is that canonically the Doctor helped write the fucking Bible. That's the implication here that I'm supposed to be gleaning from this. Is that correct? Is that correct? Is that correct? Because that's what it seems to be. Of course he did. Average Doctor Who behaviour. In H.G. Wells, during a stay in Scotland in 1885, attempted to hold up a Bible along with a crucifix in an attempt to repel a newly arrived Sixth Doctor, whom he'd mistaken to be a spirit. In 1943, Reverend Wainwright tried to hold back attacking hemovores with his faith in the Bible, but his faith was too weak and they overwhelmed him. What a scrub! Do you even, religion man? Because of the implication? Fucking loser. Have you ever seen the Brass Eye clip of that actor Nicholas Parsons reading out like a fake drug report? No, it's an elephant, sorry, reading out a fake report about an elephant with his trunk up its ass. It's pretty funny. Always Sunny reference. I know it's an Always Sunny reference. I'm aware of who Dennis Reynolds is. The real question that you have to ask is, did Dennis kill Brian Lefebvre? That's what I want to know. Do you think that Dennis did that? Do you think Dennis was that crackhead? Because we do know that Dennis is a crackhead. Anyway. In the 1970s, Count Scarlioni owned several Gutenberg Bibles that he sold in order to finance his experiments into time travel. In August 1994, Dr. Liz Shaw asked Dr. Colin Dove about Hawthorne, speculating that he was what the Bible termed a leprous house. I'm on season 9. You should have got to the Brian Lefebvre episode then. You should have got to that one. I think that's in like season 8. Or 7, maybe? Actually, no. I don't think it's in season 7. Season 7 is the one where Mac is a thick boy, right? I don't think it's that one. In 2005, after Rose Tyler survived an explosion at the Hemricks where she worked, her mother remarked that the trauma had aged well, saying that she had skin like an old Bible. In the Sarah Jane Smith noticed Mrs. Wormwood's name was inspired by a star in the Bible. Yeah, season 7 is Big Mac. Yanto Jones quoted biblical verses from the Book of Daniel after the Cardiff Rift was opened. When Gwen Cooper believed that the passages were close for comfort, Jack Harkness dismissed them as superstition that denies the randomness of existence. In the 30th century, Sondergaard compared the stone tablets which recorded the beginning of Solonian civilization to the Book of Genesis. In the 30th century, Sondergaard compared the stone tablets which recorded the beginning of Solonian civilization to the Book of Genesis. Before his regeneration, the 8th Doctor quoted from Luke 4:23, "Physician, heal thyself," before downing a chalice of elixir of life. In the 108th century, when Tegan Yavanka used the phrase pearls before swine, Sven Tornquist recognized it from the Codex of Lazarus. She said it was from the Bible, but he didn't know what it was. I know! Where did that come from? Did you guys hear that? Who did that? Was it you, Craig? I think it was you. Are you religious, Ryan? No one else is around. Let's have a conversation. I am. I'm not a Christian, but I am religious. During the last Great Time War, the Overseer displayed knowledge of the Bible. The Bible was in the Plume Coteries library, where after the Most Cat and Mad messed with all the books of the library, its author was listed as Noodle Man. No one else is around because we're all squares, is that it? Najawin, I know you pull out a news article specifically for this stream. But yes, I am religious, Bruce. Yes. Yes, unironically, I'm not doing a bit. I'm trying to find my way religion-wise. Well, I wish you the best of luck on that journey. I genuinely do. Another possible exception occurs in Planet of the Dead, in which the 10th Doctor claims he was present at the original Easter, though he is interrupted after saying what really happened before he can specify whether he means the resurrection of Jesus or the first formal celebration of Easter, and before he can elaborate further as what really happened. Sure, why not? God damn it, Nashwin. Okay. Let's take a look. What is everyone's thoughts on religion? You shouldn't factor it into your day-to-day decision-making, regardless of what you believe. That's what I believe, I guess. It doesn't, affect my politics. It doesn't affect, the way I view the world. You know what I mean? I don't know. Don't generally like organised religion very much, though, I have to say. My thoughts on the religion, the institution, or the claims of religion, that's interesting. Yeah. No, I don't like the institutions, and I don't like a lot of the claims particularly either. I am not religious, but as long as people are reasonable, i.e. not harmful to others or themselves, that's fine. Yeah, no, that's very true. That's very true as well. Okay. Let's spin the wheel again. Okay, the Grey Man's Race. What's this one? Let's say the claims of religion. I mean, which claims? Ask me which claim, Bruce. Make a claim and I'll tell you what I think of it. Like a specific one. We'll do that. Who wants to discuss race? I mean, not really. We can do religion right now. Racism is bad and racial justice is generally pretty good. I mean, I support reparations, so that's about where I stand. Unlike that particular end of the spectrum. But no, yeah, what claims? What is there to discuss about race? Yeah, I know, there's not really a lot to discuss about it. Especially from our point of view. Really, we should be sitting listening. The Grey Man was one of an ancient race who sometimes styled themselves as gods. Oh, is this ancient alien stuff? Is this ancient alien stuff? Oh no. Nothing really, just thought it'd be a bit funny. I'm an ancient alien. What's a theological non-cognitivist? What is that? I need to look that up now because I've never heard of that before. I've never heard that before. What is that? Theological non-cognitivism is a non-theist belief that religious language like God is meaningless. It is sometimes called agnosticism or inktheism. Oh. Care to explain it in more detail? Yeah, I don't really get this. In the thumbnail, is Jackie reacting to the takeover of the pigeons? Yes, that is what's happening there. Read the page as an interesting behind the scenes section too. I will. I'm going to read the page, don't worry. I'm just really interested to see if anyone has any actual thoughts on what Bruce was saying. Before I proceeded to read the page. I think meaning of words depends on choice of language, and depending on choice of language, claims about God could be true or false or fail to refer. I think that's fair. And the other thing is, like, when people say God or gods, like, they mean different things. Like, they mean very different things. Like, what I perceive is very different to what, like, a Christian would perceive, for example. Or anyone who's, like, monotheistic, I suppose. I don't think anyone's running humanity's lives. I think our choices are like our own. E.g. a natural Spinozaism is perfectly fine. What is naturalistic Spinozaism? You have to remember that I'm stupid. Like, are you just saying those words to get me to look them up? I start using them in conversations and be like, that is a perfectly cromulent word. The idea that all things, including humans, are governed by the same natural laws. This philosophy is a key part of the thought of Baruch Spinoza, a Jewish Dutch thinker who lived in the 1600s. Spinoza believed that everything that exists is a single infinite substance, which he calls God or nature. Spinoza's naturalism is incremental because the universes are present to varying degrees. Spinoza believed that the laws of nature are the same everywhere and always. Yeah, no, this sounds basically accurate. This is essentially what I believe in. I don't know. I do see the point about it being, like, meaningless, though, because it doesn't actually have an impact on people's lives unless they choose to let it have an impact on their lives. You guys are all so much better read than I am. That's the thing that should be very evident from this. Huh. The Grey Man was one of an ancient race who sometimes styled themselves as gods. They influenced and solidified the structure of the universe, whom he called his people or his colleagues, and who were referred to in one history book as the Grey Man's race. Although the Grey Man manifested in a human-like body which he could replace if it was destroyed, he referred to a separate species who had appeared after his own kind as the first humanoids. By some accounts, the oldest race in the universe who had hardened the structure of reality were the Time Lords of the Great Houses. Although initially he met the Grey Man, the Seventh Doctor felt certain that he was not a Time Lord. And now from real theology to Doctor Who universe theology. I know, this is mad. By the Grey Man's telling, his race existed before the origins of life. By the history book's account, it had been formed alongside other forces such as the Guardians in Event 1. Although the Grey Man's own account did not clarify whence his race had come from, nor whether it pre-existed Event 1, and made no mention of the Guardians, the Grey Man related. 15,000 million years ago, the cosmos formed during Event 1. There was a hydrogen rush which defined the parameters of the material universe. The implications and resonances of Event 1 go beyond that simple explosion, but they don't concern us. Stars formed, systems formed, life blossomed on a million planets, and when the first cells formed in the first oceans on the first world, I was there with my people, watching. After the aforementioned first mundane humanoid species evolved, the Grey Man and his colleagues watched them for 10,000 years, growing emotionally invested in their turmoils. One day, however, war broke out with the species, and they destroyed themselves. The Grey Man saw in their senseless and violence in madness external to the mortal's own way of thinking, and realized that his colleagues were responsible for the introduction of them and us, good and evil, and all other such absolute dualities to their new sphere. Kim Jong-un! This is a good page, by the way. There was a madness manifest in the design of that virus, polarization and duality, undiluted absolutes, fine for chess, but chess is a game, and these concepts have been applied to the real world. I call it madness. It was nothing of the kind. There were other agencies at work, not alien forces, because no such things yet existed. I investigated and I found, under the influence of my people, of my race, they had developed the madness because it suited their own purpose. It suited the rivalries and the tensions that divided them, and to which I had not been a party. Their influence stretched through the cosmos, down to the universal structure itself. There is a structure, perhaps it is difficult to explain, but it is a loose and pliable one. They had taken it and were making it rigid, imposing their own philosophies, their absolutes. They had taken the people of the First World to war. They had destroyed the oldest civilization for their own fathomless motives. I do not understand why. Perhaps they were jealous. Perhaps they hate those who live in the real life that has been denied to them. Perhaps they wish to be worshipped as if they were gods. They style themselves as such. I have never understood. Perhaps I have not tried. He fled their home and created a cathedral in an effort to inject ambiguity and free will into the universe. He hid it in a pocket reality, making sure his people could not discover it. He himself, however, longed to see it again, and returned to his home, where he was immediately placed on trial by his colleagues for his so-called blasphemy. He was cast out, fell, and burned, essentially dying. His mind only survived as part of cathedral, though he could project himself from it into the universe. The form in which the Doctor and Benny Summerfield would eventually meet him when humans studying interstitial time stumbled on the secrets of cathedral. The Grey Man's race is never given a name, with referring only to his colleagues and other such paraphrases. One obvious interpretation is that they are the guardians of time, as they stated to be responsible for introducing Manichean duality to the universe. The Grey Man would thus be positioned as a midway point between the Black Guardian and White Guardian, filling a part similar to the balance bringing Red Guardian in Craig Hinton's unrelated effort to expand the Guardian's ranks. Although the Grey Man's race and Guardians are discussed separately in a history of the universe, the latter are not brought up in Falls to Shadow. Furthermore, the Grey Man is shown to have the same abilities of control over the Doctor's TARDIS that the White Guardian does in Enlightenment. As the first sapient race who used their position to impose a metaphysical structure and reality in the early universe, they also strongly recall the Time Lords, as they would go on to be reimagined in Faction Paradox as the Archons, or later Homeworlders of the Great Houses. Crimes Against History, for example, opens on an exploration of the Archons' origins, which strongly recalls Falls the Shadow's account of the Grey Man's race, and brings caveats to their description as humanoid or a species at all, thus explaining their distinction from the first humanoids in Falls the Shadows. The first sentient life in the universe develops. The culture in question can reasonably be described as humanoid, and immediately begins to imprint its own ideas about how things should work on the universe around it, hence the proliferation of humanoid forms throughout the rest of history. As the first self-aware tenets of creation, this primal structure can't strictly be considered alien or even a species. As such, they are the ones who set the template for the rest of sentient life, and therefore can only be considered a force of nature, or at the very least a force of history. The discussion of the... What do you think Doctor Who should have done with the Master post-Missy? What, me? Are you asking me that? I think that... I think that they should have kept the Master as like a villain, and they should have had them be a little bit more morally grey, and then they should have had them like slowly, tragically slip back into being fully evil, basically. I feel like if you imagine it as like an arc, a cyclical arc, I think Missy is the halfway point of that arc, basically. Because it would be really sad. I don't know, like you have the Master actually try to be a good guy, they fail, some of that is kind of retained in their next incarnation, and then eventually they just end up going insane again. I don't know. That's kind of what I think would be interesting. If you want to keep the Master a villain. How about they get rid of them altogether? If that was a realistic option, then yeah, that would be preferable. I would rather that just be the end of the Master story. Same with Davros. I wouldn't have minded if Witch's Familiar was the end of Davros' story as well. I like the Master very much, but can we finish the page before we get too much into that? Thank you, Aristide. You're right, we should. However, within Falls the Shadow, the Seventh Doctor's first impression of the Grey Man includes the detail that he is certain that whatever the Grey Man might be, he was not a Time Lord. Furthermore, the Grey Man seems to refer to them as separate from himself, once noting, I have no affection for the Time Lords of Gallifrey, nor any Mayfly race that claims for itself the status of gods. However, a measure of ambiguity is added by another passage of Falls the Shadow, where the Doctor himself, within his inner monologue, denies being a Time Lord. I am what I am not a Time Lord, I reject the title, I am myself, I am a doctor and healer, a good man. One of the Grey Man's statements about his own race is a similarly dismissive judgment of them for styling themselves as gods. Yeah, another even more straightforward guess, not necessarily incompatible with a conflation with the Time Lords, would be that the Great Man's people are Abrahamic angels. The Great Man's reference to having fallen and burned after he was placed on trial for blasphemy by his people evokes the classic imagery of fallen angels. This would seem to place the internal rivalries among his people, which translated into an introduction of good and evil to mortal experience as the biblical war in heaven sparked by the devil's rebellion. How about making them more of an anti-hero and reluctant ally like Vegeta? I'm not sure that would work with the Master, because the Master has done too much, like, bad stuff. Like, everything that Vegeta did, Vegeta did under the yoke of, like, an abuser. And that takes away a lot of the culpability of what Vegeta did. And also, Vegeta spent, like, hundreds and hundreds of episodes on screen very slowly reforming, and you just can't do that with Doctor Who, because the Master's going to show up, what, 2, 3, 4 times at most in each respective Doctor's like series. I don't know. I just feel like you would have to have like 4 or 5 showrunners in a row all be on the same page as to what to do with the Master for that to work, and I can't see it. I just can't see it. Because look at Chris Chibnall immediately like threw everything out and like started again because they didn't like the direction it was going in. All it takes is for one person to have that inclination, and then the whole thing is fucked. What Doctor Who should have done after Moffat is a soft reboot set at an unspecified time and figure stuff out later. Yeah, no, I kind of agree with that. I feel like it should have just been like, hey, here's this new show, Doctor Who. Kind of like what Season 10 was. Just do Season 10 again. It worked. I don't know. People like that season. So, yeah, F. Alright, let's take another look. My mouth hurts a lot today. I ate some chicken. It was some hard chicken. And it, like, got in between my teeth. Tried flossing it out. Didn't work. In a lot of pain. But that's okay, because we're almost done. Another 20 minutes. Alright. Let's go to another page now. That was pretty interesting, though. The most infuriating thing about Chibnall Master is that they act like the Missy stuff didn't happen. Oh, yeah, I do find it a bit infuriating. Who do you think should be the next showrunner if it continues past Gatwa? What do you mean if? Of course it's going to continue past Gatwa. I don't know. I can't really think of anyone who would be a realistic choice. There's people I'd love to take on the job, but I don't think they would do it. So it's kind of, you know what my outsider pick would be? Like, if I was told like, hey, it can be anyone you want. It can be anyone you want. You know what I mean? If like if nothing's an object, you know what I mean? And you were guaranteed that they would bring their A game. I would like to see a dual show running role. I would like to see a showrunner and a script editor on the show. And I would like it to be Reese Shearsmith and Steve Pemberton. That's who I would like to be the showrunners of Doctor Who for a good 5 to 10 years. After a hiatus for a little while, because I think it's needed. Like, give it a couple of years. You know what I mean? I think Shearsmith and Pemberton would do a really good job with Doctor Who. So that would be my probable answer. I would have said Charlie Brooker like 10 years ago, but I feel like that time has passed now a little bit. But yeah, those are the people that I would probably like to see take over Doctor Who. Or fuck it, like let's just give it to Chris Morris. Just let Chris Morris run Doctor Who for 5 years. Do that. Why not? If no one wants the job, then just give it to some outsider and let them go crazy with it. That's what I say. And then, hey, maybe it'll be a success again. But if it's not, you get to say that you were artsy and cultural and shit. Like, do it. How about Moffat again? I would say that's, of the options that are realistically possible, I think Moffat again is the best one. That's what I'll say there. I wouldn't say no. It'd likely never happen, but Robert Shearman doing a few seasons would be peak. I don't know about him running a show, because I don't know if he has any experience running a show. And, like, running a show involves a lot of, like, work and tasks that I get the feeling that Robert Shearman would hate doing. But I do think let him do some episodes, because he'd be really good. Give it to Chris Marshall! That's really good. That's really good. Let's spin that wheel again.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, showrunner is also producer. Yeah, exactly. Ryan, do you like my idea if I was showrunner? Philip Schofield. Oh my god. So the reason why I say that I think that Shearsmith and Pemberton would be really good showrunners is because they have experience running a genre anthology show and like keeping it in budget, and they already know how to like deal with the BBC, and they know how to get the best out of the format, because Doctor Who fundamentally is an anthology program. Like, aside from the Doctor and the companions and the TARDIS, there's no common elements between each episode. You know what I'm saying? So I think that they would be really, really well suited to doing that. I think that they've shown that they can handle a lot of different tones as well. And honestly, like, just watch Inside Number 9. Like, the quality of their work is just on another fucking level to fucking Doctor Who. So yeah, I would like to see that. Oh, it's him again. He doesn't he not have a page? I don't know if he doesn't not have a page. Let's find out. Let's find out. He doesn't. Yay. Yeah, it would be cool if they leaned into the spooky stuff as well, because they're really good at that. You know what else they're really good at, which would make them a really good bet for showrunner? They're really, really good at making stuff that looks really nice but isn't very expensive. They're really good at that as well. And that's a very important fucking skill for a Doctor Who showrunner to have. Because think about imagine how much money do you think has been wasted on this new season of Doctor Who, on the first Russell T Davies 2 season? How much money do you think was just bloated away on nonsense? Because I'm willing to bet, like, a decent percentage. Anyway. Yeah, we should probably spin again. In a second, because I need to grab some water. I'm spitting pears here. Hello, I'm back. Did you miss me? Okay, let's take a look at this one.
Yeah, baby.
This might be dead. List of titles that reference other works. Finally, I wasn't sure if you were ever going to return.
Yeah, baby.
Are you doing a Moriarty? Silurian variant supremacy of the Cybermen. What's this? What's this? What's this? Oh! Oh, hi guys. So, one type of Silurians were once encountered by the 11th Doctor on prehistoric Earth. Oh, god damn it. What is with me today? I know! What is with me today? These Silurians resembled the caste to which Vastra was native. Indeed, both lacked the third eye, which distinguished the early Silurian and middle Silurian subspecies, as well as sporting 5 digits on each hand and no external ears. However, these Silurians were distinguished in that they had crests on their heads and down their neck, and faces with bulging black eyes, wide curved mouths, and no visible noses. As such, their genuine faces resembled the Silurian masks of their more human-like warrior counterparts, whom historians knew as late Silurians. In an ultimately aborted timeline, these Silurians were converted into Cyber Silurians. Huh. That's weird. Don't you think that's weird? I think that's weird. Right, let's take a look. Back at the wheel, if I can find it. Ah, let's do that. Yeah!
Yeah, baby.
Oh, god damn it! Is Cybermen sexist? Yes. Anyway, moving swiftly on. They should be called cyber people. We all know this. Okay. Well, god damn it, people. Chris Chibnall had the courage to ask that question. Cyber pronouns. Masturbation, also known as onanism and colloquially as wanking or spanking, was sexual stimulation without a partner, often, though not always, done to pornography. Wanker was also an insult. Fern touched himself while watching pornography that depicted sex between a man and a woman, 2 women, and 2 men. A Banksy pleasured himself to a recording of Karis Fletcher and Matt Stevens having sex in his Club Night Spot's bathroom. Go on, son, with you all the way. He was alarmingly stunned to witness the sex gas in Karis, turning Matt into a pile of dust upon orgasm. Owen Harper later recorded Gwen Cooper's kiss with Karis for later, calling it a treat. Rather than sleeping, Torchwood is so fucking creepy, man. Who up fiddling with theyselves on they stairs? I thought Banksy was Jodie Whittaker, the 13th Doctor Who. They're not. This isn't the 13th Doctor. In Torchwood. In October 2016, Mrs. Lindorf caught her husband fiddling with himself on the stairs. Later that month, Mrs. Quill asked Ram Singh if there was a great big window of porn open as he typed out the assignment Quill marked. Ram joked he was spanking himself and did the whole paper using only his left hand. Panda once claimed that a wank was even nicer than a cup of tea. In the 27th century, Bernie Summerfield noted that through his production of literary xenopornography, her husband Jason Kane had turned himself into a doll for aliens to pleasure themselves with, and essentially made himself into a product to be consumed by selling pornographic accounts of his encounters for random strangers to wank over. We do need more masturbation references in Doctor Who. It is true. It is true. So yeah, a couple more, I think. Let's see, TardisWiki. Let's do another spin.
Yeah, baby.
Random page. Which Doctor has had the most sex? 12. Unquestionably. Let's see. So, what was it again? Random page? Let's see. Revenge was the spacecraft the Stone family used following Jeff, Andy, and Mary's critical role in the liberation of the planet Venus from the Daleks. Ostensibly a ship of the fleet of the Space Army, Revenge was pivotal to the Battle of Skaro, where as command post, Jeff Stone conducted a penetration of the force shield surrounding Skaro so effective that he literally held the very existence of the outlaw planet in his hands. Revenge may well have featured in other stories, the humanoids and monsters of Gurnian in particular, but it wasn't named in either of those stories because Breakthrough carried no illustrations of the hull of Revenge. It is difficult to assert with certainty that Revenge looks anything like the vessel seen in humanoids or Gurnian. That said, the implication seems to be that Revenge is the ship featured in the other stories of the Dalek book. 12 has River, Clara, and Missy. Of course, it's him. 12 is also, like, the first Doctor in New Who, anyway, who seems like they, like, hook up in their spare time. They seem like they go to bars in their spare time. None of the other New Who Doctors give that vibe off. 15 gives off the vibe that he wants you to think that's true about him. Let's see. I mean, sometimes 10... No. 10 goes to the slug and lettuce. 10 goes to the slug and lettuce. That's my answer to that. If you know, you know. Jab. Hey, sorry I'm late. It's okay. We're very happy to have you. Okay, let's see. Let's spin the wheel again.
Yeah, baby.
It's okay. I'll be playing High on Life tonight, so you'll be able to catch me then. For fuck's sake. I think Alan is trying to tell us something, guys. I think Alan might be having some needs. We've just cycled back to the page for breasts. Okay. Alan getting spicy? Is Alan in heat? Breasts or boobs, bosoms, doodahs, or more offensively known as tits, were organs commonly known on human females. Circular fucking doodahs. I don't know. Is the word tits more offensive than boobs? Is it? I wouldn't really think of any of them as offensive. I don't know. What organs commonly found on human females, circular in shape nipples, were located on the center front of breasts. Unfortunately, it was possible for breasts to have cancer, which could be fatal. What the fuck? That's fucking what? Unfortunately. Iconic quote from the Doctor, nice tits. That is true, that is a thing the Doctor has said. Unfortunately. Ryan, do you think it's fortunate? No, I don't think it's fucking fortunate. Lucy Miller had to strap down her breasts while masquerading as brother Lucianus. Irving Braxiatel owned champagne glasses molded on Marie Antoinette's breasts. While wearing a telepathy pendant, Toshiko Sato heard a woman thinking of when she was sat with her boobs like something out of the National Geographic. Tommy claimed that his girlfriend was never happier than when she was flashing her tits at a passing dickhead. What? What is combat? What the fuck? Oh. Oh, written by Noel Clarke. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Now it all makes sense. One incarnation of the Master gained Dalek bumps identified as etheric beam locators, which were placed in a way that they appeared to give him breasts. When the Ninth Doctor pointed this out, the Master insisted that they were only bumps, though he suggestively told Emma that they were extremely firm. After regenerating, the 10th Doctor called the Master camp and mockingly complimented him on his nice tits, whereas the 11th Doctor felt shy because he mistook the Master to be a girl. Finally, after regenerating into female form, the 13th Doctor believed she herself had etheric beam locators, even pointing out an on switch leading Emma to inform her they were actual breasts. Nipple! Noel Clarke, best companion. Wonder what he's been up to. Horror had large breasts with nipple piercings, which her friend Angela Marrero could see through her t-shirt when it rained. What fuck? What? When Horror and Valentine Bregman were being transported into the ship of war, she stepped towards him and he felt her fat tit rub against the side of his arm. When Evangela encountered a thinner Horror from the future, she noticed that her breasts were no longer what they were. Fucking fuck is this? Of course! Of course, fat tit. God damn it. Okay, one more. We know what Lawrence Miles likes, but Lawrence Miles is all about those big titty goth girls, okay? That's very clear. And like, who can blame him, man? Is it a barely Doctor Who novel? It's a Faction Paradox novel, yeah.
Yeah, baby.
Ryan, thoughts on fat tits? Fat tits are great. There's nothing wrong with fat tits. There's nothing wrong with little skinny tits as well. There's nothing wrong with any type of tits. They all have their own merits. They all have their own pros and cons. Strive for variety in life. Those are my thoughts on fat tits, I guess. Let's look up the TardisWiki. Wiki. How about no tits? No tits are also great. I don't know. Like I said, there's no version that's like not good. You know what I'm saying? Alright, Professor John Woo, sometimes called Johnny, was a former companion and grandson of the first Doctor and his subsequent regeneration. He looks like a little fucking delinquent. Hang on, look at this guy. Look at this kid. Man, you can tell this kid's a little shit. John and his sister Gillian were originally natives of 20th century Oith. However, after visiting their grandfather in his TARDIS, they were whisked away into adventure. The Doctor attempted to get them home for some time after this, but had faced trouble because of the damaged controls of the TARDIS. The two spent much time in his care and grew from children into teenagers. They eventually gave up on their ambitions of returning to 1964 and enjoyed their adventures across the universe. At some point, the pair stopped. They literally kidnapped them! The Doctor just kidnapped these two kids. At some point, The pair stopped travelling with the grey-haired Doctor Who and began travelling with his next incarnation instead. The trio fought Kleptons, Daleks, Cybermen, Witches, and Trods, but when faced with the real threat of the Quarks, the Doctor chose to enroll them at Zebedee University so they could be safe without him. A few accounts claim that John and Gillian never really existed and that they were fictional beings or dreams. However, the vast majority of sources treated them as totally real. Additionally, the accounts which claim they were fictitious seems to disregard the pair aging and leaving for university. Jimmy Savile strikes again. That disc jockey. Okay. All right, let's do this. My throat's starting to really hurt, so I'm going to wrap this up soon. Although most accounts held that John was a real corporeal being, some accounts suggested that he and Gillian never actually travelled with the first Doctor. One suggested that the Doctor Who travelled with his grandchildren existed in the land of fiction while visiting the Seventh Doctor encountered John and Gillian, who claimed he was their grandfather, and those company had fought the Kleptons and Trods. They tried to make him remember that his name was Doctor Who, in which he flatly replied with denial. When they pressed further and asked if he remembered them, he said that he didn't. Another unrelated account stated that the Eighth Doctor had dreams in which he had adventures with a version of John and Gillian. These dreams helped the Time Lord unwind by suggesting a less complicated reality where villains are naughty, not evil. People never die and promises are never broken. John and Gillian are just the grandchildren the Doctor wishes he had instead of Susan. The second Doctor once made reference to how he avoided thinking of his family, thereby letting them sleep in his mind unless he really wanted to bring them back into the forefront of his conscious. In yet another account, John and Gillian did indeed physically exist and travel with the Doctor, but they were mathematically computed simulacra given reality by the TARDIS based on the Doctor's wishes. They were only two of thousands of companions whom the Doctor created out of thin air, perfect and unchanging, to travel at his side without fear of death, in an effort to avoid the responsibilities and anxiety. These evading techniques led to the creation of a psychic entity known as the 5 o'clock Shadow, whom the Doctor would later escape by using the same TARDIS functionality to give life to perfectly angst-free versions of himself and Susan. J and G are not recognizable enough for RTD to reference them. Yeah, possibly. According to most sources, John and Gillian once lived in England in the 20th century. On one occasion, they were sent to meet their grandfather at a specific address, which they found to be an empty yard with a police box inside. Inside the box, they met their grandfather, who explained to them that they were inside a time machine. John, fascinated by the controls, pressed the button and sent the ship into the 30th century. The time ship landed on a planet where the alien Kleptons had recently travelled and enslaved the planet Peaceful Thanes. John, Gillian, and the Doctor helped defeat the Kleptons and free the Thanes world. Afterwards, they took off in the time ship again, with the Doctor promising to take them back to the 20th century, but neither child minding what century the next adventure took them on. This is a long-ass fucking page. I'm not doing this. Oh, Jesus. My throat's starting to really hurt. When he was young, John had red hair. At one point in his life, he had freckles. So his hair keeps changing colour? It's usually a trauma response. Yeah, no, I think we're about done here. We can save this for another time. I will catch all of you later on, because I'm going to be doing the High on Livestream tonight. I don't care if they're not as memorable as Beep the Meep if RTD doesn't reference them. Wait, right? I agree. He should reference them. We should definitely do John and Gillian. We should definitely look up those again at some point in the future, though. I'm sorry. I'm just not feeling very good today. But I will be back tonight for a nice casual high on Livestream, so that should be good. And I will see you all either then or on Thursday for even more TardisWiki Wiki Roulette. Hopefully my throat will be a little bit better by then, and we can dig in even deeper into the wonderful world of Doctor Who lore. And won't that be nice? In the meantime, I have been Ryan. Make sure to like, subscribe, all that good, beautiful, juicy algorithm stuff. And make sure to hold those closest to you as we bear down the brunt of the Pigeon apocalypse. Bye!